Good evening, everybody. I am Dadbod. Tonight, we just released the playthrough for Fallen Treasure, and I think a lot of people made it known that it will be really useful to have some kind of commentary in this. So that is what we're going to do. We are going to fast forward through me right there, blah, 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 blah. You can see it if you want to see the regular. But we're going to pause it intermittently just to kind of go through. Obviously, this starts with a little bit of lore. Got some story time. But as you can see to your left, the path is blocked off. To your right, the path is blocked off. So the first thing that we got to do is go up to this booster. If you go to your right, you'll see that you'll find a strawberry. So that'll be strawberry number 1. And I forgot that I can just like fast forward through this stuff. Alright, strawberry number 1 obtained. Now we're going to go all the way to the left, which is going to break open a path for you. Now what's really weird about this mechanic is on the jump through platforms that we see to the left right under Kevin, if you are ducking when that happens, Kevin will just push you right through. So you just stand there, hit him down, and it allows us to go forward. This is pretty simple, 2 wall bounces as soon as we transition back. So you're just going to jump, wall bounce, dash to collect. I think that part's pretty self-explanatory. Alright, this part is kind of unique, and this part gave me a little bit of trouble at first. So pay real close attention to when Maddie jumps off of Kevin, because it's a very specific timing to get him in the right position. Should be like right, let's just take a quick peek. Obviously you want to be on the top of Kevin right before the first dash crystal. Wall bounce, and make sure we dash straight down, wait till he clears. It's actually not too bad once you get the timing. This room was also really weird at first. I did a lot of playtesting in this room. But as you can see, there's kind of the... Oh, excuse me. There's kind of the... It's like really early in the morning when I'm recording this. Just couldn't sleep. There's that space right above you to make sure that it doesn't kill you when you bounce off of Kevin. Dash forward. You want to jump up there, catch the refill as soon as possible. And on the knockback, when you hit Kevin up top, you want to grab that double dash and get over before he gets to you. Dash underneath of him, and then move out of the way. This room is, after practicing a lot, this room is actually pretty free. Pretty self-explanatory here. Just want to make sure that you collect your... You get in position for Kevin when he knocks you down. The next room was interesting at first, just because there's a lot of like weird timing at the very end. Just really important to kind of make sure you line up your dashes. As soon as you get through this platform, you want to make sure you dash at the crystal so that you get enough time to push through, obviously. That room is not too bad once you get used to it. It takes a little bit of practice to get your timing when Kevin pushes you down, to hit the dash crystal and then dash back to hit him. And then you're just lining yourself up at the top. Alright, so we're going to go up first before we go through that wall, or else it's going to be a real pain in the butt. This is going to the cassette room. You got to do the same piece here to get Kevin, but you just need him over there to break that wall. Nothing else. As you'll see here, I don't know what I was thinking, because I don't have a dash. Like, what the hell are you going to do? So you got to position yourself in the right place and jump at the right height to get through that, and then it'll push you through. Now, this room took me a while to get, but it's really just all about timing. As you'll see, you really want to pay attention to how the timing goes. You want to be able to dash through that where the first blue cassette block is, like, as soon as it as soon as it turns off. So timing yourself in that position is really important. And as soon as you jump out of there, you have to directional input or DI to the left as much as you can, or else you'll run right into the spikes. Dash up to grab the refill, which will allow you to pass through. You'll want to dash up into the next refill crystal, which will get your, by that time, the blue cassette block will be open. You'll dash up into the Kevin, which is going to, as you'll see, break the blocks, which would otherwise prevent you from moving forward. Let's get to that point at least, and then we'll pause it. So as you can see, I'm up. As soon as we go through, now this part, once we get here, we'll pause it. Okay, so we've made it through that part. That part's not too bad. Timing this part out, or this next part, isn't too bad. I typically wait for the blue cassette block to turn on, and then you jump in between it, dash up where the dash crystal is right after the blue cassette block, because the pink cassette block will be there, but you'll still have plenty of time to get over, and then you'll be on some springs. I typically wait to enter the next area until the blue cassette block up top is on. That way, by the time I get to it, it's off, and I can just grab the dream block and then wait till the pink is over. So let's get over to that point. And we wait till it's on, and we go up and transfer. Now, this part can seem kind of tricky because if you come in, there's 4 cassette blocks next to each other. And if you start at the blue one and you're just jumping over, you really have a hard time when it comes to losing your stamina unless you're just neutral jumping on top of them. So what I've typically waited is until the pink block is almost there. You have to time your entrance to that room like right before the pink block turns pink, so it doesn't kill you when you're entering that room. And so it's the first pink block, or it's the first block that you grab, and then it's pretty free from there. You'll jump through the space jam. There will be a refill crystal. You'll want to dash up immediately because the next cassette block will be full, and if you hit it, you die. And then you just dash into the cassette block, and we're done with this room. Just like that. Now, it's a lot harder, obviously, than me just talking about it. It takes a lot of practice, but I can do that room very consistently now. And this, you just obviously want to time your dashes. Now we're going to go straight down to the first set of like really difficult rooms. Here's our next strawberry. I had to edit this in. So you want to grab the side of the dream block, jump out of it, and there's our next berry. Now this is going to be the first dream hyper that we see. And a dream hyper, if you haven't played 2D, I strongly recommend you play Chapter 2D side. As soon as you pass through the dream block, there's a few frames that gives you almost ground to jump on, and that's how we normally get our jumps. And in this case, we're going to perform a hyper dash. So we're going to get out of there, perform the hyper dash. What that does is it gives you really quick outward momentum and a forward trajectory. And then obviously collecting the refill crystal will allow us to break the wall and continue on to the next room, which is our first like big challenge. Now in here, there's a few ways of doing this, and really just kind of watching this does a lot of good. Obviously, you have to hit the Kevin, which will activate him, pushing him to the right. It's going to break through that wall and break another wall within the game to get you forward. But while that's happening, you have to very quickly, excuse me again, diagonally dash up through the dream block, and then immediately dash to the right, performing a dream hyper. And we'll get to that point, and I'll show you what we have to do next. Because there's a couple ways of doing it. Now, from here, the first touch switch has to be collected, so you need to jump up on that as quick as possible and collect that. You can see Kevin down at the bottom is knocking that block out of the way for us. So we have to grab that touch switch. I found the most consistent way is to, after you jump, grab that touch switch, fall, get to that second touch switch and dash up, and collect the switch, and then just do kind of a jump off of the second little piece there, as you'll see, to grab Kevin. There's a double dash refill, which you're going to have to dash to hit Kevin back because there's a wall preventing you from getting out of the room. And then you're going to have to dash to the bottom of one of the platforms and just jump your way up. Make sure you're managing your stamina appropriately, or else you will run out, I promise. The other option is to just get over to Kevin as quickly as possible, which is pretty easy to do with the right timing. Grab the double dash and then collect the touch switches as you're doing that. The issue that you'll have is when you're going down for the touch switches, you have to wait for the block to come down as the touch switch activator, and sometimes you run out of stamina. I found this method right here to be the most consistent. And I can do this pretty easily now. It just, like I said, like everything in this whole mod, it takes a lot of practice. Don't forget, dash up to collect our next berry. Now this room is another crazy room, and we're going to go through this in parts. So the first thing, obviously, is a Dream Hyper. This is going to be one of the more frustrating if you're still learning Dream Hypers, because you're going to die a whole bunch here, but as soon as you get it, especially through a small slice of Dream Block, it's kind of weird. So we're going to go through, and I'll just stop us as we need to, getting over to the place that we need to get to, and you'll probably run out of stamina right here. Now, if you dash directly up, you will die, I promise. So you want to go a little bit further to the right, dash up, and we're going to go through the space jam here. And you're not going to do a Dream Hyper, you're just going to dash out and jump, which will allow you to grab the other, or allow you to dash through that other space jam and hold on to Kevin. Now, keep in mind, if you look at the top right corner of the screen, there is a block at the very top that's obviously a little bit less uniform than the other line of blocks that's covering the exit. So as you hit Kevin, Kevin drives down to essentially break that wall, but that block will actually fall into a position that if you don't exit the room fast enough will block you in. I learned that the hard way many times. So let's get to Kevin real quick. So from here we just find 2 dashes, and obviously I don't wait for that because it just falls and blocks you in, and it's really sad. Alright, from here, if we're going for the berry strat, it's really kind of it's really tight. So obviously dashing up, grabbing the wall to the left with the spikes only allows you to do it once, but when you jump to grab that dash refill, you have to pretty much be as far to the right as you can without hitting spikes, so when you diagonally up left dash, it doesn't kill you. Going into the Dream Block then is a quick jump to get you the height, and then we go up through the next set of Dream Blocks. So from here, really important, you pretty much collect a refill. You need to immediately diagonally dash down to the left and then dash through. The timing is really tight, but it's not too bad once you get it. And then timing your jump out of the Dream Block is really important, because if you go too high, you hit the spikes. If you go too low, you hit the spikes. So you kind of have to be right in the middle. So I found the most consistent path is just grabbing onto this block here, then dashing through. Neutral jumps if you can do them. If not, regular jumps, you won't run out of stamina. So the important part here is just to time your exit out of Kevin. I got really lucky here. I almost got crushed. But you'll need to make sure that you hit him low enough that you can still grab onto him, because if you hit him too high, you will bounce off the ceiling and fall straight down and die. You have to hit him low enough to be able to grab him to take you to the platform. Wait till he comes back. Let him get you through the platform. I'll show you really quick. You wait till he comes back, hit him through the platform, and just get onto this little block boy here, and we're out of this room. This room is actually not too bad. It didn't take me many tries. I let him break through that first block there, and then through this the Dream Block. It's a very you got to get over there quick, because Kevin is faster than you unless you're in fast fall, and then Kevin falls the same speed as fast fall. So it's quickly dash left, dash up, right, dash down to activate him. And this room is pretty free after that. I'll just kind of talk through it. You just kind of want to time your jump out there. I very seldom ran out of stamina. You could use that dash. That dash is almost not even necessary. Dream Hyper right there, and we are out of this room. This is another, for what I find, a pretty easy room. You just have to get over there quick. So just lots of dashes to get up there. This is a kind of a weird, I found it, I always land on that block right there, but it works pretty much every single time. Make sure you have a deep enough jump into that little room because the camera triggers are kind of weird. And after all that, we're out of this room, or actually out of that whole area. But we got to get that touch switch really quick. There's a couple things that we can do. Just making our way over. I'm going to fast forward through some of this because it's, you know what we're doing. All right. Now we're going back down over here. There's a couple berries that we want to get from here. So this room is actually really kind of weird because, like, this confused the hell out of me for a very long time. The thing I found most consistent, like, you can jump over that first set of spinners and do a wave dash. It's just really, really, really tight. Most of the time when you wave dash, you hit the corner of it or the left edge because you have to wave dash, actually extended, wave dash, to get your dash back, and then like right before you're about to hit this, the last pillar of spikes on the right, you have to jump up and over it to be able to collect it. What I found to be most consistent is just jumping over, grabbing the side of the crumble blocks, and then performing a wave dash. It just helps you line it up so much easier because if you stand on top of it and you jump, the crumble blocks disappear. If you grab onto the side, you have time. There's an elongated period of time when you grab onto the side of crumble blocks rather than jump on them, and it doesn't matter if you jump on them after, that length of time stays the same. So from there, we're going to take this bubble out to the left, and it's going to get us into a secret room. And the solution is, it took me a while to get this, but we're going to dash up to the first switch, collecting the first touch switch, getting the bubble. We obviously want to get the berry, so I guess this room doesn't really necessarily need explanation because there's nothing real tight about it. It's just, you just got to follow these steps here. And on our way out, just want to hit that diagonal jump, and then we are going to go up. This room is also pretty free. It's just lining up your jumps and dashes. All right, moving on. There's another strawberry up here. Yep, we got that. Now let's go down. Oh yeah, one more thing that we gotta remember. Yeah, there's actually nothing up there. I forgot. But there is one more berry down here in this space jam. We just want to, instead of bouncing off of it, go straight up, collect, and moving on. All right, now that we're in the next part, things get kind of fun here. So the first move is, there's a lot of quick reaction moves to this. So we're going to hit the first spring, which refreshes our dash, and immediately, and I mean immediately, you have to dash diagonal, hit the next spring, we wall bounce, hit the red booster. You'll see this room is actually not too bad. It's just getting that timing right. Dream Hyper, hit the Kevin, get ready to push us in. Now, there's only one way of doing this room. I've tried lots of different ways. This is, just pay attention to the order in which you have to do this, because if you go a different way, the spikes are set up just right so it will kill you, and it will be not pleasant. And then make sure you just time your jump out of here. Well, the jump, if you just let yourself jump out, it will kill you. Now, this room here took me a real long time to figure out, but after playing this a whole bunch, I found the most consistent way is doing it the way that I'm doing it in this video. There's actually a couple different ways of doing it. The first thing is to grab the red booster, go up left into Kevin, which will push him down and then push you still up in the diagonal motion, which will allow you to hit the top left red booster, go down to the bottom left red booster. Once Kevin drops down, obviously he breaks that first square below him. The first red booster is going to take you through the dream block there. You don't have to dash through it. It'll automatically take you through it. You're going to want to immediately dash to the right to collect the touch switch, and then immediately dash to the left to get out of that part twice. Dropping down to the bottom, we see the refill crystal. Get the touch switch from there and hop in the red booster. I go through the dream block on the right one time and back to refill my dash and just kind of set up the bottom red booster, which takes you up to Kevin. I dash down, or I dash right into the booster below me, and as you'll see, it'll kind of push me in a diagonal direction, which hits the Kevin. Let's just go. There's a lot of explaining to do here, so obviously first we make it through our first set of dream blocks. Now this is going to set us up here. We want to go through the first and come out, which is going to set us up at the bottom booster, taking us up, activating Kevin, pushing him downward. We're going to immediately dash right into the next booster and go diagonally down, which is going to allow us to, by the time Kevin gets there, we're going to be able to dash into Kevin's left side, and we just want to stand up on Kevin and just kind of wait, and then you have to perform an extended hyper dash to get out. So there's a lot of explaining to do in that one, and it's really weird, but that's what I found to be the most consistent. Next room is just as fun. This, once you get it, it's not too bad, but this took me a while to figure out too, because there's a ton of stuff. We'll get through the first part and then I'll pause it again. Obviously, the first red booster, we're going diagonally down, but it doesn't take you directly into the next booster on the bottom. You have to dash to it, then go up to the top booster, and then you want to go left up diagonal, and you would just hold that position. It'll actually put you in the right spot for the booster in the top left corner again, and then bottom left diagonal. This is actually kind of a neat how it did that. Now this part is important when you're getting out of it. I always hold on to that position because you have to dash out, dash back, and dash down, or else you obviously hit the spikes. And you want to wait for at least the first two refill crystals to refresh themselves, or else you will have a bad time. Then we grab the red booster. I found it most consistent to dash up diagonally and hold on to the little corner right where Kevin is. Fall down, hit Kevin, get into the bubble because there's a strawberry hiding up right behind him, as you will see. And then you just got to make sure your timing is right. Yep, and I goofed that one up, so we're going to go back into there and finish this room. Now this room also gave me a lot of trouble, and there's a lot of different ways of solving this room. The first thing that you're going to have to do is perform an extended hyper dash to make sure you have enough dash to get over to Kevin. You just have to hit under him. What I found to be most consistent is you hit under him, grab the dash refill, hit him again. Now you want to make sure that you have enough room between the spikes below you and the top of Kevin, because that's where you're going to be standing. But for the most part, this room wasn't too bad. I'm actually embarrassed to say how long this room took me. Collect the switch, get on top of him, and then we just have to get him there and knock him down. All right. This room we're going to have to do in a ton of little parts because this is a pretty complex room. There's 2 berries in this room. One of the berries you have to do some extra stuff for, and as you'll see right now, once the room refreshes from my edit in, you'll see the room below, but there's a little space behind Kevin, and that activates a switch which gives you access to the berry. The other one is almost necessary just for the setup of the room. So the very first thing we're going to do is show you that. Got to get Kevin out of the way. Now this part is really quick. You have to dash down, and it's like the timing is really weird. You'll dash into the first red booster, and then you have to dash diagonally right into that wall, and the knockback will take you to the refill, dash into the wall and hold on, wait for the red booster, and then you have to dash again to hit that switch diagonally right at just the right time to hit that switch. And you'll see right here, timing is really odd, but now with this part, that part out of the way, the switch is open, the strawberries at the very end of this room. This part is really tough in the beginning, but it becomes almost free at the end. But there's just a lot to memorize. So when you activate Kevin, you obviously want to be holding up a little bit higher than the top 50%. Like, you know, if his body was the equator, you want to just be right above that. And sliding down will grab the dash refill. And as soon as you grab that dash refill, you want to dash diagonally up to the right. And make sure you're not holding on to Kevin until the very end, or else you will grab him again and die a horrible death. Now from here, there's a double dash refill. We have to jump off of Kevin before he hits that block with the spring. And it's gonna, we want to jump up into the red booster, diagonally down to the left, which is going to activate him again. Hitting him again is going to push him downward. Now there's some space jam down here we're going to want to dash down into, up to the berry, and out. Now from here, it's really important getting your timing set for this. You want to be able to jump out of this dream block and hit your dash at just the right point to where you collect that double dash. So you can hit into Kevin's left side, dashing down to hit the spring. And then setting up for that. Oh, there's a lot to do in this room. Now, fast bubble is really important. Traditionally, if you jump into a bubble, there's a small time interval that goes by before you are exiting the bubble. But if you hit your dash command as that's happening, it goes through much faster. You need to do that to set up the time. We're going to go up through this little spike area here, go through, do a dream hyper, and that will set Kevin up in the right position. You want to make sure you're holding on to the lower end of him, hit him up, and we are out. So I know that's long-winded, but there's just a lot to do in that. This next part is, I don't know that I found a way that's just like, hey, this part is, this is exactly how you do it, because there's just so much going on here. Let's get out of this. So essentially, it's just getting Kevin to the very end. This dream block here at the bottom is preventing you from doing that because Kevin will not go through that, but he will go through it on his way back if he's retreating. So you just have to make sure your timing is good. Honestly, this room is just kind of jank. Like, I found just like luck to be the only thing that works with it, because like I got so incredibly lucky there. And I've gotten lucky a few other times. All right, this next room also can be really intimidating at the start, but it's really not so bad. The first thing we're going to do is jump up into this spring, which is going to push it down into position where we need to be. You can either dash left into Kevin or diagonally dash into him. It doesn't matter. And then you want to immediately hit underneath of him, which is going to send him down. From here, there's the spring that we just put in place. We're going to go through the little dream block maze, collect that touch switch, get this touch switch, and from here you want to make sure Kevin is going to be in position. There, you just want to dash into him. We're going to go to the left to collect that touch switch, get into the red booster, and by that time, Kevin's going to be on the right side of the wall. We're going to be able to dash up into him. This is where fast bubble comes in really handy right here, so he doesn't crush you. And then we are out of this room. Now, this room also a treat, an absolute treat. This requires a ridiculous amount of I guess, fast reflexes in the beginning, you will just dash through this and hit the spikes probably 20 times before you get it if you're anything like me. Notice at the end of this dream block here, the first one, there's a little opening. There is a berry that we're going to get in there. I actually forgot to grab that in the first playthrough, or I had the footage for it, and this room took me just so many hours. Normally what I do when I'm editing videos is I just go to the end, and then I edit up from there, and I forgot it, so my bad, Dev. I promised him I would put it in here. So from here we have to dash through the dream block, immediately diagonally dash, and you have to short hop out of the dream block so that you don't, if you do a big jump, you're going to hit the spikes. And even if you do a short hop at the wrong time, like you'll probably still hit the spikes because it's just tight like that. You're going to have to dash up diagonal into that spring and immediately dash up so that it doesn't, hit you into spikes, which lands you on that dream block. So let's get to that position there. Now, from here, you can see that block is starting to fall, and that actually is used way later in the strat as well. So we just want to time it. You're going to dash down out of the dream block, hit the spring again, which is going to get you through the first set of dream blocks on the bottom. You're going to dash up, and then we're going to dash up into that hidden room we were talking about. And we got a sweet little berry here. No Battleins chasing you, which is nice. And I think I just explore this room a little bit because I have, you gotta look for secrets, obviously, right? Anytime you see something like that. And then here I immediately panic and die. So let's get back to that point again. Alright, now from here, after we jump out of that dream block, there is a small piece of wall that we're going to do a wall kick off of. Gets us into position. You have to immediately dash down, dash up left, and then you're also going to you have to diagonally dash through this dream block, but you can't do it too far to the right or you hit the spikes. And you have to jump out of it at the right time, which almost corner boosts you off of this first corner here out of the dream block. And then we're going to go 2 wall bounces. Grab this refill. And we're going to hit Kevin, but you want to make sure that you get down as soon as possible because we need to do an extended hyper dash or reverse, whatever one is most comfortable to you. So fast falling is pretty important because from here you have to make sure that he's at a low enough point to where he gets through that thing of red spinners. And you will see we have 2 springs like we did earlier on. We're going to jump off of Kevin, hit the spring, but immediately dash up left. Hit the spring again, and we're going to be at a dream block. From here, obviously, we need an extended or dream hyper on here, and the dream hyper is going to take us to a red booster. You need to fast bubble in this one, which is going to hit the switch. You hit the spring and dash down. Now, the timing on this is really weird, but you want to dash down because that spring, as soon as Kevin hits this wall, it breaks, which pushes the spring down further. You will not get anywhere if you don't do this the right way, and because you have to catch the spring at the very bottom, which will get you back onto Kevin. Make sure you don't dash into Kevin. You have to catch him the right way. Right about this point, you want to hit the red bubble because if you don't, you're going to crash into the bottom of him to set up the strawberry. Or not the strawberry, I mean just to put you in the right position. And then keep in mind, you have to set yourself a little bit to the left. Actually, I'm going to rewind a little bit there just to be more clear about that. You have to, because of Battleins following you and you kind of have to wait for Kevin, just put yourself to the left or right. Actually, more right would be the most logical because she would just follow you and kill you. So you want to fall into that. Dash over, set yourself up a little bit, off center, and then you're in place. This room is actually this is one of my favorite rooms. It's super fun, really intuitive to play. It doesn't require a ton of, there's nothing real crazy hard to figure out. You have to jump out of this dream block, grab Kevin, hit the spring to refresh your dash, hit him into the touch switch so that you can collect the touch switch, but make sure you jump out of it in time. This was actually a really fun room to play. You want to make sure that you grab this wall right here, because that wall will set up something later on, and the spring pushes you in just the right position to hit the red booster. From there, you'll want to grab that block, obviously, so Madeline doesn't get killed. Dropping down, making sure your timing is right to hit Kevin down here. And then just make sure you dash low enough because Madeline is coming for you too. And then just put yourself in the right position to go down. This room was also really, really tricky. This took me a long time to do, mainly because there are strawberry pieces, which will spawn a strawberry. This is the second to last room. So the strat we're going to be talking about is how to beat it and get the strawberry. So first we're going to do a extended hyper dash, which is going to hit us into the first spring. Diagonally dash up to this spring, and then you have to DI to the right to stop your momentum, and then it'll allow you to diagonally dash up to the right to get the seed there, and then you're going to have to DI to the left to hop on the spring. A lot of... Now this part is crucial. This killed me a million times. Not really a million, but like 200 times probably. You have to dash like so quickly out of this spring if you want to make it through that space jam. And as soon as you get out, it's just a standard dash to get into position. So you'll have that double dash crystal. You'll dash to the left, dash up to the left. And we're going to do the same thing as we're doing with any of the springs that are facing any direction. We are going to dash out of them immediately. Now this part is also kind of crucial because you have two battle-ins coming and there's a seed you need to get. I found it most consistent holding onto this wall for 1 second, fast falling, dashing up to this berry seed here, and you will always go through the battle-in. This part here requires a Dream Hyper. As you'll see, grabbing onto the ledge, we need that dash to grab the seed, puts you in position for this. This is a fast fall. This actually didn't take me a long time to get, but this is all about fast fall. Coming up, hitting the Kevin, diagonally dash, diagonally getting that seed, and then setting yourself up. From here, it's just about timing, diagonally dashing out of the last dream block to collect the last seed, and it actually gives you enough time. I'm just sitting there, dash down, dash down, dash down, dash down, dash down, down. Okay, cool. We're good. All right, last room. Oh, this room will be the bane of your existence. It's really fun to play, but I promise this will be the most frustrating room I think you'll find in the entire series, but once you get it, it is a very satisfying win. So we're going to go through this in little parts. The first thing we have to do is you dash out and you have to immediately dash up. I found it most consistent to grab the wall just so you can set up your Dream Hyper out of there. You can do it straight out if you're a little bit more comfortable with the speed strats. I try to just line myself up, and by the time we got to the end, I just had this down to muscle memory, and it was a matter of execution after that. So we dash through the first dream block, dash up, perform the Dream Hyper. Now, every single bubble in here needs to be fast bubbled, except for one, and I'll let you know which one that is, so let's get to that point. So, like I said, found it most consistent, grab there and fall. Fast bubble, we're going to dash straight up and collecting this. Now, when you fall down, you have to get yourself into position to grab that bubble again. If you do not fast bubble, Battlein will be there before you, and you will die. From there, you'll want to diagonally dash into Kevin. Make sure you're not holding your grab input, or you'll just grab him. Fast bubble. This part took me a lot of time to get the timing right, because if you don't do this fast enough, Kevin won't be in position to fall straight down. So you immediately have to dash up out of this dream block to grab the seed, the double dash. Then you need to dash down, dash to the right, and fast bubble out to the left, dash up to Kevin. There's a lot of stuff happening in this, but once you get it, it's not too bad, and it feels really cool to do. All right, from here, it's just do not jump out of this dream block. I've found if you jump out of this, you're just going to have a real bad time. If you just let yourself fall out of it, it puts you in position to dash through the next set of dream blocks. you'll obviously want to directional input to the left, so you grab the wall, jump up as fast as you can and dash into that red booster, which is going to take you down. All right, from here, pretty self-explanatory. We're going to dash up into these. I found it most consistent to grab all of them like that. And from this point, if you dash out of this and jump, you will not get the distance or the timing. You have to Dream Hyper out of this. Even though there's no refill, there's about to be one below. This is really awkward, but this is the intended strat. Or this is what I found to be the most consistent pretty much every time. You're going to want a fast fall because there's a double dash refill, but you have to curve yourself to the left because Kevin is still coming up and he's got spikes on his head, and you want to be able to avoid him at first. Just like that. Now there is, if you're not going for the berry, there's a strat right here where he would be in a different position and you can get him through those blocks. But since we're going for the berry, we are going down here through the Dream Hyper. You want to make sure you are going as fast as you can, but this is the bubble that you do not want a fast bubble out of. If you do, the very last Battle and Chaser won't be passed yet, and you will run right into her. So you just wait. You will have enough time, I promise. And we are going to go up, hit Kevin right before. And now it's important. You saw how I moved off to the right. That's obviously important because the Battle-ins are following your path. And you're going to want a fast fall because there is a red booster. We'll get to it right here. And if you go any direction besides up or down, you're going to have a bad time. I break out of that as quick as possible, go down, and you're going to want to dash quickly to the right as soon as you get out of the spike maze and then dash to the left to hit Kevin. Now you'll see where I made a big mistake. I'm holding low on Kevin. So from here, there's a double dash, hit the last touch switch, dash up into the red booster, diagonally up into the last seed. But when you hold Kevin too low, all the Battle-ins follow suit. That's why I actually had to. This was the most devastating death in this entire run, because I get down, cool, I collect it, and then the Battle-in stopped moving, which was, I don't understand why. Which absolutely killed me. So here, obviously, without needing the seeds, I changed up the strat just a little bit. But for the most part, I stay true to it because muscle memory, what have you. But the one strat that I did change up once we get down there is going to be where I hold Kevin in the end. And since I don't need to get the berry, I can just hit him. Now, it's really important to stay on the top of Kevin right there because that's where the Battle-ins are going to be. And it's obviously in a way different spot than where your red booster is. So it puts you in a good position to get out of this. Boom. And then we just hit him and run for your lives because that's all she wrote. I won't spoil any of the story for you. We're actually going to stop right there because this was like really, really, really awesome mod to play, but you're going to